Today I want to talk in depth about the strangest knife in my collection. This is the Poikilo Mundus Khem, and it does a neat trick here. What on earth? This knife has over 100 moving parts. This is a truly huge knife with an overall length of 10¼ inches and a blade length of 4¾ inches. Definitely huge. It's also very heavy for a folding knife, coming in at 14 ounces. On this particular version, the handle scales are made entirely out of titanium Damascus. In Call of Duty, they call this aesthetic camo Damascus. In reality, it's called titanium Damascus, and it is far older than Call of Duty. The blade on this knife is actually 24 karat gold plated M390. A lot of people ask me, is it sharp on both sides? Well, it's not really sharp on either side, but one is definitely sharper than the other. On this side, it's a false wedge, not sharp. On this side, it's a little sharper, but still not something that I would call dangerous or even functional. So to deploy the blade, you pull back on this system here. You can see the blade wants to pop out. Just pull it back here and sort of whip it out. It's really interesting how perfect all of the little seams are. It's really hard to tell that the blade even comes apart. But the way that you do that is by pushing in on the pivot and then rotating it. And this allows the blade to swing out into the sort of spread out position. Very, very cool. From this position, you can actually get it to close, and it's handy for showing it on camera. You push down and turn it, and we can see the blade slowly coming back together. How interesting. You can't get it to do that again from the open position, but you can simply reset it, turn it, deploy it again, and it's out in that spread out position. Now, this particular knife is my personal Khem, which I bought for my personal collection. This version, gold plated and Damascus scales, went for $5,000. They only made 8 for the United States, and then there were 30 more available in this configuration for other countries. The original version of this knife, or the standard version of this knife, which you can still get sometimes, I believe has an entry price of about $1,300, but there is a far more expensive version of this knife called the Museum Khem. It goes for $20,000. So what's the purpose of a knife like this, you might ask? Well, the truth is, not much. It's really just Mundus showing off their design and machining capabilities, even though the end result is something that is wildly impractical. It's very cool and very fun if you are a knife collector or enthusiast or just somebody who enjoys the wild and crazy world of knives. But there's not very much practical use. Actually, there's no practical use for this. It's just interesting.